Hello everyone, I'm Anthropomantic Fiends, and I do horror-related things on the internet, and today I am doing something I'm not sure I've actually done before, which is a book review. It is not really a horror book, it's more of a whodunit mystery, but it's a really, really dark one that leans into some very horrific elements, so I thought it warranted a review here for that reason, among a few other reasons. And that book is The Letters of the Devil. This is a graphic novel by Ben Wright-Heuman, who is my cousin. He sent me this along with its sequel as graduation presents back in September. I'm sorry I did not get around to reading this sooner. He is a really, really cool comic book writer and artist. If you want to check him out, I'm going to be leaving his links below. He's got a YouTube channel, social media, his own website, etc. So all that's going to be down there. Back when I got this and the sequel, my friend Marty from the Trashed Picture Show asked if I was going to do a review on this, which I initially wasn't planning on doing because he's always looking for more comics to read, and he himself has worked on some comics and has a YouTube channel and is just generally a really cool guy. So if you're not subscribed to him at this point, I'm also going to be linking his YouTube channel below. To start off, I'm just going to read the back of the book to give you a brief synopsis of what it's about. Detective Cedric Dustin is a cop with a future, clever, cocky, and opportunistic. So when he receives an anonymous letter accusing a major financial figure of fraud, he jumps at the opportunity to advance his position. As he investigates, however, he discovers that he's not the only recipient of a letter from the mysterious L, and he becomes entangled in the chaos that arises when dark truths are brought to light. Yeah, as it says, the setup for this story is a very, very simple kind of whodunit mystery where this guy receives an anonymous tip and goes down this rabbit hole trying to figure out what's going on. And he uncovers the dark truth that L tipped him off about, but he also discovers that L has been sending letters to a bunch of people exposing the darkest secrets of people who are close to them. When someone discovers someone else's darkest secrets, or if someone else discovers their darkest secrets, people tend to do horrible things to each other to cover that up, and nobody is safe in this book. The story was really, really well crafted, and all the characters were likable but multifaceted. Everybody in this book has a dark secret. No one is completely trustworthy or safe. Everybody's a little twisted, which I liked. And when we do discover who L is, I'm not going to give anything away. I thought that their motivation and backstory was really, really interesting and very dark and twisted, which I appreciated. I love the art style in this. It's this very rough, hand-drawn feel, as you can kind of tell from the cover. I'm going to try and open this up to something that's not particularly spoilery, just so you can get a sense of what the art style is. So everything's more or less in black and white and kind of in this rough around the edges hand-drawn style, but whenever L sends someone a letter and we see the contents of the letter, that is inked in red, and we'll sometimes see what the letter is describing, and that'll be drawn in red. And I loved the way that makes those particular parts of the book jump out and adds something of a sinister quality to that specific element, and just this significance as well. I'm definitely not going to go as in-depth as I do with my movie reviews in this, because it's mostly the work of one person. I can't talk about the actors or the camera work or all of these different elements that go into a movie, even though this is a really well-crafted story, as a lot of the movies I review are, because it's not put together in exactly the same way. And on top of that, it is hard to talk about the detailed ins and outs of this story without seriously spoiling it. So I do think it's really good, and I highly recommend looking into it. If I do have any negatives on this, it's really, really short, so it kind of went by before I could figure out what had just hit me, but that's not necessarily a negative. If you want a really good story you can read in a fairly short amount of time, this is good for that. But at the same time, I read it in little chunks over a large span of time. It was so short that sometimes I don't think certain story elements or reveals really hit me as hard as they were supposed to, just because of not spending a huge amount of time with the characters, which might be my own fault, to be honest, because I read it in little chunks, so spread out. But I may end up rereading this and reading it in just a few sittings just to get a sense of how it's meant to be read. There's also a sequel, which appears to be longer, so the shortness of the book isn't going to be a problem either. It does take me a long time to read things just because I try to multitask and do so many things at once all the time, but I will get around to reading the sequel, and once I do that, there will be a review of that up. If you want to check this out, if you want a really good, down and dirty, twisted murder mystery, whodunit thriller type of story that really delves into the darkest parts of a bunch of characters' psyches, I think you are really going to enjoy this, so I highly recommend looking into it. If you want to buy a copy, among Ben Wright-Heuman's links, I'm going to put his website's store so you can look into this and everything else he has written. That is my review of Letters of the Devil. Thank you for watching my video, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye.